back to my universe. It's DC, and if you're OG, you already know what a real wrong. If you're new to my channel, thank you for tuning in. I hope that you'll stick around and subscribe. Okay, y'all, I'm back. So I actually just ended up cutting the ring light off, and I feel like the lighting is still pretty okay. My second pregnancy, I found out that I was pregnant actually on Valentine's Day of 2016. By this time, of course, I had definitely elevated. I had my own place, I had my own car, and I had, you know, my daughter. I was in a relationship. Definitely not the healthiest relationship, and I, however, was still excited, but also
see what we're looking at here. If you look over here, I'll show you the arrow.
it's moving.
Let me get a solid picture.
Okay.
But yeah.
Oh goodness, he acted like his sister.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, look at those hands.
Oh gosh.
Stay still, little baby.
Look at that. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Hands, feet. Oh, I'm not supposed to point out body parts. I'm so bad at this now. How can you not point out body parts when they're so cute?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
I
Did you
think
see
I
the
see the
face?
little heart. Yeah, I see the face.
Oh, rolling around. Look at
Oh
that.
goodness, it's moving too much.
All right, let's look for heartbeat.
I see
Looking
it.
good.
I truly wasn't ready, like, for another baby. But it was already, you know, manifested. Like I said, I was 22 years old, and moving forward with that pregnancy, I wished for a boy. So pretty much similar situation with my first pregnancy. I went to my initial appointments alone because me and my baby's father, we were not on the best of terms, but we still were together. And I actually, I would say a month after finding out that I was pregnant, I learned or experienced him actually cheating, like, in my house. So that was pretty devastating and traumatic in itself. So from the start of my pregnancy, I was very, very emotional. I was very angry. I cried every single day, like hard crying, like the ugly cry, like where it's crocodile tears and just can't breathe type of crying. Like it was bad. But because I felt like the relationship could be repaired even after that type of experience, I stayed. I did not want to be a single mom with 2 kids, and then even though I had my own place and my own car and everything, I had a job, I still was pretty much robbing Peter to pay Paul. But this time, I definitely utilized more resources, and I tried to my best ability to kind of just push that memory back and not let it affect the rest of my pregnancy. But the cheating continued throughout my pregnancy. and it honestly it made me really, really angry. Like it kind of hardened me in a sense. So I wasn't like seeking support from my family because I was shamed about what I was going through. Like, yeah, I would talk to like certain people in my family about it, but I was embarrassed, so I didn't talk about it. And then I remember specifically with this pregnancy, I had a lot of I also experienced a death through this pregnancy. It was my boss. So again, kind of close. And I remember this one thing that really stuck with me because, and I forgot to tell y'all, with my first pregnancy, my daughter ended up failing her hearing screen, and now she does wear a hearing aid in her left ear. Me and my auntie, this was my favorite auntie on my mom's side, and we went out to lunch one day, and we were just getting back on speaking terms. I forget what I stopped talking to her for, but we were just getting back on speaking terms. I remember us crying, and I remember we talked about my pregnancy and how she felt like I didn't need another baby. See, but I ended up taking it away as her saying that I didn't need another baby, as if I was incapable of being a good mom. But what she really was saying was, being that she was a mom taking care of kids on her own, she knew like how hard it would be for me. So that's what she meant. But I took it in a different way than what she intended. But I do remember her asking me, what would I do if something was to be wrong with this baby? And I told her that I would still love my baby and all of that, but I truly just did not know. But that stuck with me. That stuck with me for the remainder of my pregnancy. I thought about that every day. Like, what if something wrong? What if something wrong? What if something wrong? Until again, like I said, I was already going through a lot emotionally throughout that pregnancy, mentally. Like, I was in the worst depression at that time. Like, I was outside of my home, I was making it seem as though like, I was happy and things were good, things were perfect, but inside my house, inside my mind, inside my body, I felt horrible. Like, that was the darkest period of my life. And I still was unaware that me experiencing just that sadness, that frustration, that anger, just a lot of unpredictable emotions. I wasn't aware of how detrimental that actually was to my baby. I felt like I was just feeling it, but truly and honestly, everything that I was feeling was going straight to my baby. My baby was getting so much of just that. Oh my gosh. But moving forward with it, he actually was full term. I ended up having him, I think, right at 38 weeks. His due date was October 16th, and I had him on October 2nd of 2016. He was born at 4:17 p.m. and he weighed 7 pounds 9 ounces. So compared to my daughter, he was way bigger. But when I went into labor with him, I was actually sitting on the back porch, and at this time I was actually living with my baby's father and his mom. So it felt so good. That's like autumn was first starting, and it felt so good outside. I just felt so refreshed, and it felt, the feeling, it was a beautiful day. It was October 1st. I was sitting on the back porch eating some spicy crabs. The crabs were so good too, I ain't gonna lie. The crabs were so good. But right after I ate crabs, I went and took me a shower, and then I ended up going walking, and I walked around the park. Like the park had, this walking trail, and I walked around the park, I would say at least like 5 times. I can't tell you how many miles that was, but I walked around the park at least 5 times, up and down the stairs and all of that, just because I was ready. I was so huge. And I was just tired. I hadn't already had my baby shower, and I was just ready. But by now y'all know that he's a boy, or he was a boy. His daddy actually attended a couple of appointments, not all of them, but a couple of the appointments. He was there when I found out the gender, and I received more support. Although emotionally, I still felt alone, but I did receive more. My baby's father was a lot more active. Walked around the park and everything. Okay, let me go back a little bit. As far as my eating habits with my second pregnancy, I definitely ate a lot more, but I ate a lot more of the same type of thing. So I was eating shrimp, however I could get them, fried, steamed, boiled. Only thing is I don't eat them cold, but I definitely was eating shrimp a lot, French fries, potatoes, corn. I ate more fruits throughout that pregnancy. So I graduated from just strawberries to strawberries and pineapple. Since my baby before was premature and I hadn't gained much weight, this pregnancy was considered a high-risk pregnancy. So my doctor had actually prescribed me Ensure. So I was drinking Ensure day in and day out. I had so much Ensure. And that's probably another reason why I did actually gain a lot of weight with that pregnancy. I gained the proper amount of weight, or maybe I gained too much. I don't remember, but I know I gained at least 20 to 25 pounds with that pregnancy. So that was the biggest I had ever been. I loved it though, to be honest. Like as far as like carrying the baby, that was tiring. But as far as like my hips and my thighs and all my butt, and I loved it. I wasn't as active with that pregnancy either, like I said, because I was going through a depression already. I would literally just, go to work and go home. I wasn't walking as much until the end. And then when I went into labor with him, I had just got done. After I walked around the park, I went to Publix. I got me a foot-long sub, some chips, cookies, and was I still on Sprite or did I have a Pepsi? I can't remember. I know it was a soda. I can't remember if it was dark or light though. But that was my thing. I had a whole sub, chips, sugar cookies, and a soda. And after I ate it, I was so full because I had already had crab. And crabs really don't fill you up, but I had already ate. But I was just like, you know what? I'm so tired, I'm so full, I'm gonna just go ahead and just go to the hospital now. Like, I'm not feeling no cramps or anything. I'm just gonna go and check to see if I dilated. I was running to the hospital, a lot throughout that pregnancy. Like, a lot. I know they was tired of me, but I was ready. When I first walked in, it was just like, we don't see that you're having any contractions or anything, but we'll check to see if you're dilated. And I was dilated about, I think, like 3 centimeters. In order for them to keep you, sometimes you have to be at least 4 centimeters or more. I was only 3, so they honestly was getting ready to send my butt home. But y'all, I kid you not, I held my breath and I pushed down a little bit. Just doing stuff. Young and just doing the most. Just doing the most. Down a little bit. By the time she came back in and checked me, I was 4 centimeters. So they was just like, okay, well now, since you have dilated while you were here, and you're 4 centimeters, we're gonna go ahead and roll you into another room. You're not ready to, of course, push or anything right now, but we'll go ahead and get the room set up so that, eventually you can give birth. And she told me, like, it could take hours, it could be a couple days. She didn't know. So they wheeled me into the labor and delivery room. They got everything set up. I was super excited, super nervous at the same time. My baby's father was actually in jail at the time, so he was not there. Neither was my baby father for my first pregnancy either. So, but I think I said that already. But I ended up sleeping at the hospital alone because he wasn't ready to come just then. So I got me some rest, and the next day he still was not ready to come. But by this time, my aunt, my cousin, my baby's grandma, which was his dad's mom, and a coworker who was, supposed to be my baby's godmom. So I had 4 women in the room with me, and my auntie was supposed to be recording. And to this day, I actually had my labor and delivery recorded for my second pregnancy, but to this day I have never seen the video. Yeah, so that morning he still was not ready to come. Eventually, they asked me whether or not I wanted to speed up the process, because by that time I had been there for 24 hours. And again, since I had not done my research really, and I was just so ready and anxious to meet my baby and to have the pregnancy be over with and get my body back and things of that nature, I said yes. So I got the Pitocin, and that was probably the worst decision that I ever made, getting a Pitocin, because it made the contractions super, super intense. By the time I was 6 or 7 centimeters, like, I was in excruciating pain. So I was in so much pain that I actually asked for the epidural. And, my auntie then was just like, you sure you want to do it? You gone this long, you can do it. But I was like, no, I need something that's going to help me get through this, because if I'm only 6 or 7 centimeters right now and I got to get to 10, ain't no telling how long that's going to be. No. I didn't know how to breathe properly through the contractions. I was going through a lot already, so it was just like, let's just do whatever to get this over with, ease these contractions, and so that's what happened. I ended up getting the epidural, and he eventually came at 4:17 p.m., October 2nd, 2016. When he first came out, he wasn't crying. And I remember asking him, like, was wrong, you know. And it was like, give it a minute, he's gonna cry. And I think they like patted him on his butt or something, and he started crying. And he was loud. He was real loud. To this day, he's still real loud. Immediately, like, got on the breast. So he was a breastfed baby. Tuki was not breastfed. She was bottle fed from jump. I was too tired. First, like, 2 days, he was so demanding. He was really whining. He wasn't sleeping that long, to the point where I actually asked the nurse if they could like take him out of the room so that I could just get some rest. And they would keep him in the nursery for a while. I was in the postpartum room by myself. I literally was gonna drive us home, but my baby's grandmother, she came up there and drove us home and everything. So yeah, after taking him home, you know, he still was a fussy baby, and I just did not know how to handle that because it was so different from my first pregnancy, my first baby. My first baby was she was so quiet, so chill. Like, as long as she was fed and changed and everything, like, she literally would just sit there, you know. So I was expecting for that to be the same, but it was the complete opposite. I was so frustrated to sometimes, like, I would just let him cry. I would just look at him and just let him cry. And I don't remember swaddling him or anything. So once he got older and I learned that he did have autism, I blamed myself a lot for a lot of the things that I did throughout the pregnancy that caused him to have autism. And you know, they say not to blame yourself for it because there's no reason that they can pinpoint for autism, but I truly think that some of whatever it came from me just being so unpredictable and just discombobulated throughout that pregnancy. But we're healing through it, and he's very intelligent, and regardless, I still love him so much. I understand why he was gifted to me. That pretty much sums up my second pregnancy.